Hey guys, so today I want to do an update on my project pan and more that talk about where I am with it and talk a little bit about spending habits and the reasons why we want to buy makeup, the reasons why we want to spend money and things like that. So before I get into a little bit more about spending habits and things like that, I just want to give you a quick update on where I'm at. So I actually was able to almost completely finish up this True Match Lumi. I am planning on doing a tutorial where it's half high-end, half drugstore, so I'm going to save the rest of this to do a comparison with my NARS Sheer Glow because they're both dewy foundation. So like, honestly, this is almost gone. So I did really good on that. And this Shoe Mirror makeup base, I have been able to, I'd probably say that there's only like a fourth left in here, which is really good. I'd say this palette is probably looking about the same. It's been a little harder than I thought to use up some of these bright colors because honestly, like, how much would I have to use this green to get it to be used up? So I feel like I may have chosen too many products to use up in my project pan, but I still feel like it's worth trying to get the use out of them that I can. I have made a little bit progress on some of these down here, but not very much. So I definitely need to make sure that I'm still using this maybe as like a base or somehow getting this worked in there so I can keep continuing. And I'm going to be doing this the whole year. I mean, it's not like this is like a 3-month one or whatever. Like, I'm going to use this up the whole year. So there's still time for me to use more of that up. So on my bronzer here, you know, I've used some, but it's probably still about the same. And this blush from e.l.f., it is getting to the point where it's like barely pumping anything out. Like, I got a little out, but this actually like is getting dried up enough that it's hard for me to get stuff out of here. So that one is probably gonna be used up in the near future. And how I've been using these up is I've actually been using them for bases underneath my blush. So I just stipple it on and then I put my blush over the top just to kind of get that long wearing effect. My Derma Blend, I'd say there's probably less than half of the foundation left. And my Mirabella lipsticks I was using up, I'd say these are about the same. I wore them both a few times, but not enough to really make that big of a difference. The hard thing is there's so many lipsticks that I want to wear that it's hard for me to use them, I'll be honest. And I've bought so much stuff lately that it's like, I want to use that and I want to try it out. So this has been more difficult than I thought. So I've been pretty good about using my bases, and I'm starting to make a bigger dent definitely in this Barely Branded. That's getting a lot more used out, and I'll definitely see myself using this up by the end of the year. And Bad to the Bronze, you know, I'm starting to really kind of carve that out there too. So these are definitely two things that I think I can get used up. Now this lip gloss, this Ulta gloss, I ended up only using once, so I need to do a little bit better about that. But I haven't been a super gloss person lately. Like, I've just been into more like lipsticks and stuff. So anyway, that's where I kind of am. There might be a few other products that I included in my original project pan. I've been using my NARS Duo quite a bit, so that's getting used up. But I mean, everything else is kind of probably about the same, not too much difference to be really noticeable. Project pan has been a lot harder than I thought. It actually was easier for me to do a no-buy than it was for me to do a project pan, which might sound crazy because you're like, Amber, you've been buying stuff right and left, and people even commented to me, and I'm like, I know, I don't want to talk about it. But it honestly has been harder to limit what I'm using because I just feel like there's so many other things I want to use, and it's really hard. It's hard to like use up stuff because you want to use other things, and I have so many things to rotate to that it's definitely been more challenging than I thought it would be. And because I did a no-buy last year, I worked really hard. I went to camp with my husband, and I was able to save thousands of dollars that I actually ended up paying off my husband's truck. And so we were able to get to a point where our like debt is basically minimized to the point where we have money extra every month, which is nice. I mean, we need to save money and of course all those things, but it's like for so many years, you know, just working so hard to get everything paid down and then getting to a point where you're like, wow, I actually have a little bit of extra money has kind of made me spend a little bit more. And that's why it's been nice to shop and just be like, you know what, now when I make money doing my own business, Like I don't feel like, oh my gosh, that has to go to groceries, or oh my gosh, that has to go pay the electrical bill. Like I feel like now that I'm like, oh, well, I have a couple $100s to spend, so why not get it? And that doesn't mean that I want to spend money on makeup every month, or I feel like I need it anymore. I still don't feel like I should go out and just aimlessly buy and shop for things that I'm not going to use or I don't need. And there's definitely still been a lot of things that I've passed up on because I feel like I have something similar. I am more or less looking for unique products that fill gaps in my collection or are different than things that I already own. I don't want to necessarily buy a dupe for every high-end lipstick I have just to have the dupe. I don't necessarily want to have 12 palettes that all have matte eyeshadows in it that are relatively similar. I just did a big ColourPop order, but I honestly felt like the colors and the shades were so unique. They weren't things that I already had, where I didn't buy any matte shades because I felt like I have a lot of matte eyeshadows. I wanted to talk about today is when we use makeup shopping or shopping in general as kind of a form of therapy or a form of like shopping to make yourself feel better. And I definitely think that along with, you know, having a little bit extra money to spend, I have had a lot of stress, and with getting ready to go back to camp, I have been trying to get my house ready. We've been remodeling things and having meetings, and just knowing that I'm gonna basically be gone for almost 4 months has been a lot on me. Like I've just been overwhelmed with everything I need to do. And also I think like it's harder because like I have put on some weight from a few years ago, and it seems like now that I'm nearing 30 that it's just not as easy as it used to be. I mean, I used to be able to exercise and just start eating pretty healthy, and I could drop, you know, weight pretty quickly. And it's been a little disheartening to feel like I've been working out daily and I've been really trying to eat good, and then like I lose a couple pounds, and then like literally I eat a cupcake one weekend and it'd come back. And it's just crazy because I feel like, oh my gosh, am I to this place now? Am I to this place where I'm 30 years old and I have to live on such a strict diet? There have been days that I've just felt down, just felt a little overwhelmed. And I definitely think that sometimes for a lot of people, shopping in any instance can be somewhat of addiction, and also can be a little bit of a adrenaline rush, you know, because it's like we want to get our hands on it, we want to feel it, we want to buy it, we want to see what it is. And that can be helpful for people when they're really depressed to kind of cheer them up, but it also can keep us from facing the things that are really bothering us. So I know that makeup is a hobby, and I love makeup. You probably love makeup because if you're watching me and you watch my channel, you must love makeup too. But it's just like getting to that point where you have to see, like, is this for a purpose or is this an unhealthy addiction? And that's something you just have to ask yourself, like, what is the purpose of me buying this? Like, if you're buying a lipstick that you have 20 other shades of, but you just want to buy it because you want to make yourself feel better, you might need to reconsider some other ways to help yourself feel better. I do think that wearing makeup and getting dressed up or doing your hair or putting on nice clothes, it is an instant mood booster. And I'm not saying that that is not a good thing, because I firmly believe in that I get ready for myself. I get ready because it makes me feel good. I get ready because when I look in the mirror, I feel better about what I see. I just don't want to fall to that place where I'm expecting the makeup purchasing to make me feel better, and I'm not dealing with things in my life the way I should. So it's all about finding a balance. Like, you know, you can have a hobby, but realize why you're buying things. And if you do have problems in your life that are serious that you're kind of hiding through like obsessive makeup buying or hoarding, like just taking a step back and maybe dealing with those things that you're really struggling with in your life, instead of just like using that makeup to make you feel better. I mean, it's the same reason with people who compulsively eat or compulsively exercise. I mean, exercise is great, don't get me wrong, but you know, there are people that access to a fault, and too much of any good thing can be a bad thing. So I've done a lot of hauls lately, I've done a lot of shopping, and so I didn't want you guys to think like that you need to go out and buy. And I have enjoyed trying these things out for you guys, and I will say that there are times that I get stuff because I want them, and there are times that I'm like, you know, I think this would be a great review for my channel. I do feel like this is something searchable that people would want to see. But at the end of the day, it all comes back to how you're feeling and making sure that you're taking care of yourself emotionally, financially, and physically. And I just want to remember a couple things about my makeup buying. Number one, I don't want to put myself financially at risk to buy makeup. There's no amount of makeup that's worth putting on a credit card, going into debt, you know, not paying an important bill for. Makeup is a luxury and it is meant to be used with extra money, but I never want to get to the point or let anyone else get to a point or encourage them to get to a point where they are not eating or something else in order to buy or have makeup. Two, I want to make sure that although makeup can make me feel good and make me feel great, that the confidence of who I am comes from within me, and it isn't just about the rush of buying makeup. That I can find peace within myself. And three, if I have a problem that I'm facing, that I don't use purchasing things as an end all to make myself feel better. Occasionally, retail therapy is great. I love retail therapy. I've obviously indulged in some. But at the end of the day, if you're buying things that are in line with what you feel like you can and you've set a budget for yourself, no matter what you believe, internally, spiritually, you know, whatever it is that you believe in, make sure you take some time for yourself to reflect and do some self-enrichment or some quiet time, some meditation, and just be able to work through things, talk it out, mend relationships. You know, life is short. Life is too short to be angry or to be bitter or to be upset, because we all have 1,001 reasons that we could be the angriest, orneriest, rudest person on the earth. We all have them. We all can name things. But at the end of the day, letting things go and not covering up how we feel, but just embracing it and feeling it and having emotion and sadness and then letting it out and then just letting it go is the best feeling in the world. So that's just my little thought on today. It's just, you know, keeping yourself in check and making sure that not only are you buying makeup to look pretty and to have fun and do what we all love, that while you're doing that, you're not ignoring a bigger problem inside yourself, that you're taking time to beautify the inside of you and to really reflect on yourself and your relationships. I hope this was helpful for you guys. I love you guys. I hope that you're all happy and that you're all having a wonderful day, and I'll see you guys later. Bye.